Introduction to the CyberArk Privileged Access Management. So this session we are going to be discussing about complete these are the topics. So overview of basic PAM principles and concepts. What exactly PAM principles and concepts? We are going to be discussing about that. And how the common attack method and how CyberArk PAM can minimize the exposure and all. So what are the key features of this CyberArk self-hosted and PAM solution? Here, there are two cases. One is self-hosted, another one is privileged cloud. So PAM is having the self-hosted. Now we are going to be discuss about the self-hosted. And also we are having privileged cloud as well. So just give me, I will give, okay. So self-hosted now, self-hosted means on-premises, that is correct. But only thing is we need to be prepare everything. Right, we need to be make it as our own storage, and we have to create our own servers, and we have to be maintain the database and everything. We have to be we need to be set up a network. Everything we need to be ready, right? For take example as a food. Okay, in the food, if you want to eat food, then you need to be cook everything. You need to be ready the vegetables, and you need to be ready for the rice and everything. And then you have to be prepared and you have to be eat. This is called self-hosted. Self-hosted is nothing but on-premise. The company is the responsible to make arrangements, all these things. Okay. But privileged cloud, CyberArk is responsible on behalf of us, on behalf of the company. CyberArk is going to be manage the database. CyberArk is going to be manage the database. CyberArk is going to be manage the network. Everything they will manage. Simple example: we are preparing our own food, but privileged cloud we are purchasing the food from outside. That's it. Difference is now they are going to be installed to servers on their side, and they will give us the link. But here we are going to be do everything from scratch onwards. I will show you the difference. So the system, next one is system architecture. So what are the system architecture? How many components are there? How the components will work? What is the flow of the components? All these things it will be there. So next one is system interfaces and utilities. What are the system interfaces and what are the utilities which we are going to be? How many versions we are having and what version we are, who is going to be used, what version? And there could be two versions up there. One is V10 interface, version 10 interface, that is the latest one, and classic interface. So who will be use those kind of versions? Is the two versions which is available in the tool or not? These things we are going to discuss. And the last one, online help and customer community portal. So if you don't have any information, any information, for example, you are getting some issue in the organization, but how to do that because you don't know how to investigate that issue. So you can go to the community portal, the customer community portal, then you can get the n number of solutions which the, the users was facing earlier, same kind of issue. Okay. So these are the topics we are going to be discussing now. First one is, so do you have any idea what is privileged accounts? Because the PAM, in one line, I can say the PAM is going to be manage the accounts for the human and non-human accounts. Just for passwords. PAM is going to be manage the credentials for the human and non-human accounts. Human means it's a local account, right? User type of accounts. But non-human accounts that could be administrator accounts, right? You know what is the privileged account? Is nothing but is an important and is having the more privileges, right? So in a basically, if you see the example, classic example, so how people will get the VIP category, right? Z plus category, Y plus category security. How they will get it? Because that person is very important, right? So that's how the similar kind of here, the accounts wise, that account is having the more privileges. That means that account is having the write permission, edit permission, delete permission, and modify permission. Those are very important to the company. If someone is taking those credentials, that may impact to the organization. That may impact to the organizations. So any kind of account, if someone is going to be hacked that account, that will be impact to the organization. Those are called privileged accounts. Those are called privileged accounts. Okay. So now you can see this some of the what are the privileged accounts. A privileged account is any account that has a capability to change or impact the operational service of a business process. Okay, always remember this is very important. So, what are the privileged accounts? A privileged account is any account that has the capability to change or impact the operational service of a business process. So here you can see, therefore, we often refer to the privileged accounts as the keys to the kingdom. That means, so privileged accounts is very, very important accounts to the organization. If someone is going to be broken these accounts or someone is going to be stolen these accounts, this will be impact to the organization. Those are called privileged accounts. Okay. Now, so some of the classic examples of the privileged accounts you can see here. One is administrator on the Windows server and root on the Unix server, sysuser on Oracle databases, sysuser on Oracle databases, and enable on Cisco devices. Enable on Cisco devices. So now administrator on the Windows server, if you see, right, whenever you are going to be create the Windows server, there would be one account which will be created by default that is called administrator account, right? So this administrator will have a n number of permissions because that administrator will give you n permissions. That administrator can create the local accounts. That administrator can create other account. That administrator can delete the account. That administrator can change the transfer of the account. Right? These kind of privileges which is having the administrator. If someone has stolen these kind of administrative privileges, then what will be happen to the right? If the server is
Yeah,
down, obviously they will not able to transfer any amount or they will not able to do their banking jobs, right? That will impact for them, right? Similarly, it will impact for the organization as well. One server is going to be down, definitely that will be huge impact for the organization because it could be n number of things which is available on the server. For the CyberArk side or different background for you, whatever tool which you worked on earlier. Similarly, for your application, takes example of your application. Maybe your application is very important for you. Maybe you are working for the sale point, right? Sale point. So server is down. How the people can raise a request to get the access, right? They are not able to get. How you guys going to be provide access? Or if I was part of the sale point already, if I'm trying to access IDP or something, whatever it is, I'm not able to access now because my sale point is down. Correct? So similarly, whenever the people is trying to access to the server is hacked by someone, the people is not able to access to the server, then that will be huge impact to the organization. Everywhere. Privilege is everywhere. Privileged accounts exist in every connected devices, databases, applications, industrial controls, and more. So don't you think that okay, privilege is not there here and privilege, because if you are working as on a LinkedIn account, don't you think that LinkedIn account also is very, very important for us? Okay. So there would be one important, my cousin, okay, one of my cousin was created a website. Okay. Unfortunately, what happened, that website also, that is very, very, limited account and he's created his website, his purpose, his own purpose, because he don't want to publish that website to others, but only he was created his own purpose because he wants to enhance his skill set. Just he created website. Unfortunately, what happened? One of the guy, okay, on the back end, they hacked that website. So he just created for his own purpose, right? But he hacked that website and he was called him and he was asking him, I need some money. He said, okay, how much you need? He was asking around 1.5 lakh something. And he simply said, say bye. Do whatever you want for that account. I don't have it. I don't require that account. So that kind of people are there in the market. Okay. So privilege is everywhere. So whatever you are going to create, so most important part is here privilege. So we need to be maintain the security. Okay. Here the major impact for that my cousin, what happened, right? That guy was not maintaining the proper security for that website whenever he is creating. So what he is learned, what he was learned. So whenever he is trying to create any new website, he need to be maintained, he need to be purchased a new domain with the proper company. Then it has to be published that website. But what happened? He was published the website in the different third party product. Now it was happened, hacking happened. So that's why always, guys, whatever we are doing, right? So what it could be all the accounts, social media accounts or the website, whatever you are going to be create, security is the first priority. Security is always is the first topmost priority. That's why privilege is everywhere. It could be privileged accounts exist in every connected devices because every device which is required one account, right? So databases, applications, industrial, and more. So there are typically 3x more privileged accounts than the employees. So when compared to the organizations, when you join any organizations, there could be more 3x, and the 3 times is more than the employees in the organization. Okay. And next one is privilege can be used by any identity. Privilege can be used by any identity. So system administrator, third-party service providers, applications, select business users, and social network account managers. Okay. So here you can see the system administrator. Until recently, IT admins also we are considered as a privileged account. Basically, why we are considering the IT admins? So whenever you want to install some any third-party application in your system. So what is the process? You authenticate with the IT team and they will connect with you, correct?
Yeah.
And they will do
Yes.
the installation on behalf of you because they are having some privileges, correct? So if you get those credentials from them, then you can able to do it from your side directly, right?
Yes.
So
Yes.
obviously, what happened if I stolen those credentials from the IT admin? So what happened in my system? I can able to do my own software in the system. Then I can track it, right? I can transfer the data from I can transfer the data from server to my own server. Then that will also it is going to be impact to the organization. So that's how. So now IT admins also we are considering privileged users nowadays because they are having more privileges than us. Correct? I can see the attackers needs insider credentials. So if any attacker which is requires some insider credentials, right? Then only they will do the hacking and all these things. So 80% of the security breaches involve compromising the privileged credentials. 80% of the security breaches, it will be involved compromising the privileged clients. So right, when you join in the organization, you have a credentials, right?
Yep,
But those credentials you need to be changed for every 90 days or every 60 days or every 180 days, correct?
yep,
So why you are changing the credentials every time? Definitely everyone will feel while changing the password, right? Getting the irritation on that day. Like, why the system is asking every time to change the passwords? Because you cannot remember, right? Every time. But still, company is asking to change your credentials. I can give you a number of examples, but recently happened for Uber. Why the hacker was taken those stolen those credentials, you know, right? The Uber was using the PAM tool for Beyond Trust. Okay. So the Beyond Trust, what happened? The credentials were stored into the Beyond Trust. Then Beyond Trust is the responsible to change the passwords. Correct? As per the policy which is defined by the organization. So the password is supposed to be changed every 60 days. Unfortunately, the tool was not changing the passwords for those accounts. After 60 days also, the tool was not changing the password. If not changed the password, what happened, right? In the market, there will be some other tools which will be do that. So if you give the 12 characters, right? If you give the 12 characters password, then the hackers is easily able to access your password after 60 days. They can find out, easily they can find out your credentials, whatever the credentials you updated, right? And backend, definitely they will find those credentials immediately. Okay, that's why companies always asking you guys can change your credentials after 3 months. That could it could be 15 characters, then you can change the password for 3 months. It could be 12 characters, and yes, you can change the you can change your password for every 60 days. It could be 8 characters, yes. You can change for every 1 month. That is a CyberArk recommendation. Okay, not for others. So reason is if it is having 15 characters, right? It will take for other tools and everything, they will take minimum to minimum 4 to 6 months of time to find the password. Then we are changing on the new password, right? Every 3 months we are changing the password. Then it is not able to hack that password. That's why every people, if you are not changing your no user ID password every 3 months, then you are under risk. That's why this statement, 80% of the security breaches involve the compromise their privilege credentials. Compromise means you are not changing your credentials on time. Why people are asking to change the passwords every 3 months or every 2 months?
Yeah.
This would be the reason on the back. Okay, now we can see this. Technology change and attack pass down. So now we can see how exactly the people will enter into the organization. See, internal attacker and external attacker. So internal attacker is this one and external attacker. Who is the internal? Internal attacker it would be very easy to hack the server, right? Compared to external attacker. The
Yep.
reason I'm working as in one company, luckily or unfortunately, I got the privileged credentials, database credentials. What happened? I just used those credentials and straight away I connected to the server. Once I connected to the server, what I can do? Because I have a privileged account, right? Then I can change the password. Then I will hack the server. And then I can demand for some money from the company. This is a general process. Okay. The similarly, external attacker also. External attacker also. If the external attacker, if he wants to enter into the organization, how he will enter into the organization? He needs some credentials, right? So he will get the credentials for the remote vendor or IT admin, business user, developer, or what applications, wherever, I don't know. But still, he will get some credentials from these people. How he will get the credentials from these people? Maybe if you join in the application team. Nowadays, you are seeing, right? Hey, I joined in this company, and this is my user ID, and this is my password. So people are posting into the LinkedIn, right? Social media or Instagram, everything they are posting, right? So unfortunately, they got those credentials from these people, and they are entered into the organization. Once they enter into the organization, right? So if they will get proper privileges to the server, that is fine. If they are not getting what happened, right? They will go there, here and there until they will get proper privileges for the company. Once they get the proper privileges, they will connect to the server directly. Once they connect to the server, what will happen? You know, right? Remaining story. Even internal also, external also, the process will be the same. But only the difference is internal and external. Internal person will have a direct access to the company, but external person doesn't have a direct access to the company. They need some credentials, and they will enter into the organization. Correct. So here the first step will be they will find the credential theft. Prevent the credential theft. First they will find the credentials, then only they will enter into the organization. So we are going to be stop this. We are going to be stop this lateral movement. So internal attacker or external attacker, whoever it is, right? Internal attacker will be move on there, here and there, because the reason is you are the employee for the organization, but you are having the limited privileges for your username, right? So if you want to access to the server, you need some approval or you need some access. Then what will happen? Your ID doesn't have that permission. You are going here and there, or you are asking someone, then you got these some credentials to access to the application. Then once you get those credentials from the others, then you can directly access that. But what CyberArk is going to be do? CyberArk is going to be stop these nonsense going forward. I will show you in the below slide. Okay. The last one is limit privilege escalation and abuse. If the user is trying to abuse these things, if user is trying to change the password in the server and everything it is going to be do right, so it is going to be stop these nonsense. CyberArk is going to be stop these nonsense. How the CyberArk is going to be stop this one, right? I will show you here. Now, this is the similar process, right? So this is the general process, and you can see at the center of attack life cycle. So basically, what will happen? Existing access and external threats, internal threats and external threats, existing access. Internal means existing already access. External threats, they will come to the next work premium, or they will send in the phishing emails, or they will get the credentials from the outside. So once they will enter into the organization, they will perform the reconnaissance. That means until they will get the proper credentials, they will keep eye, move little here and there, here and there. Then they will connect to the database. Once they will connect, right? So what exactly CyberArk will break here? What exactly CyberArk is going to do? CyberArk will place in the starting of the organizations. CyberArk will place into that. So whenever users wants to connect to their application, right? First they will connect to the CyberArk. Then only they can access to their applications. Okay. So now users doesn't know what are the credentials which they are using because they simply access to the CyberArk and from the CyberArk to connect to the target application. Correct? So now CyberArk is going to be placed in the starting. Then users will not able to connect to the directly to the application. They has to be connected to the CyberArk first. From the CyberArk, they can connect to the application. Now you can see credential type, reconnaissance, lateral movement, privilege escalation, all these will be stopped. All these will be stopped. The reason is because once you choose the CyberArk PAM, all accounts you are going to be onboarded into the CyberArk PAM. Then CyberArk is the responsible to manage those credentials, correct? If the CyberArk is taking the responsible to manage that, and CyberArk is also going to be divided the, for example, Monica is belongs to HR team. Vinay is belongs to finance team. So Vinay is required access only for finance related applications, not for the HR related application. Correct? So similarly, Monica is required only for HR related application, not for the finance related application. Correct? So CyberArk is going to be segregate the permissions like that. CyberArk is going to be segregate the access as per the requirement of that. Okay. So for example, Monica is belongs to only HR department, and that HR department is only using the file servers. She's only using the file servers. So Monica will get access only for those file servers. Apart from that, Monica will not get other next. Next, privilege protecting the privileged. How exactly this will be protected? So basically, when you are accessing to the PAM, okay. So PAM tool is having the monitoring capability. So who is going to be access to the PAM and what they are going to be doing in the PAM? For example, I am going to be access to the PAM tool. So it will be monitored what Subhash is doing this and what he is trying to access, which account is trying to retrieve the password, which account is trying to connect to the target system. Everything it will be monitored. So there would be monitoring tools which is available that is called Splunk and HP and IBM tools. As per your requirement, as per the organization requirement, they will use one of the third party monitoring tool. So that is most important. And second one is it is going to be controls inside security controls inside the network. The security controls inside the network means it will not open all the ports. It will not open the all the ports. It will be restrict some of the ports, only access only limited ports, right? Port numbers is very important here. So port numbers are very important here, right? So it will be restrict for all the because usually in the organization they will not open all the ports. They will not open the all the ports. As per the requirement of the business, yes, they will open the limited ports. Okay. And the last one, if you want to access to the PAM tool, you need to be use the some of the second dual factor authentication. That is perimeter security. You can use the symmetric key, or you can use the RSA token, or you can use anything. Okay, dual factor authentication. If I want to access to the PAM tool, first single sign will be do the integration. Then it will automatically populate my ID. Then after it will ask for the RSA token. Once you enter the RSA token or semantic ID, whatever it is, then it will be validated on the backend. Your credentials, whatever the credentials you are provided, it will be validated on the backend. Once it will be verified on the backend, they will agree, they will say yes, then you are able to access to the PAM tool. These are the steps it will be followed on the backend. See, always guys, you need to be know the backend, what is happening on the backend. Say front, you can get it n number of things in outside, but backend you should understand what is the concept. Then you can able to understand easily.